Welcome to the Doc Gallagher Radio Highlights. Doc is on the air Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on KAAM Legend 770. Got a question or a comment for Doc? You can reach him at 1-800-GFG-4DOC. Now, here are some highlights from one of Doc's top shows.
When my father was on his deathbed, and he was about 24 hours away from death, my aunts came down from Oklahoma and Kansas, and there was a little bit of friction there because with my mother, because they wanted to talk to Dad. The only way they could talk to Dad is he had to be taken off of his pain medication.
Oh, my goodness.
And my mother said, no. I mean, if there was something you wanted to tell him, it's too late.
Yes.
You know? And they wanted to have maybe some kind of deathbed
reconciliation.
I don't know. Who knows? Now, my aunts are wonderful women. I'm not trying to defame them. You said you're telling this story. It reminded me that's a real life situation. Yes. And so, yes, you want to make sure that you communicate to your spouse or your other loved ones who are your medical powers of attorney what you want so that they can honor that. And
if the doctor says it's over, and particularly, as you know, John, terminal death with cancer, that can be extremely painful. So with many people, they just keep them doped up. To use layman's language, keep them doped up on morphine till they die.
Well, it's exactly right. And I know when my mother was diagnosed on December the 5th, 2004 with cancer, she died a month later.
She
had inoperable cancer. Obviously, she had the cancer, did not know she had the cancer.
I see, yeah.
Okay, but yes, she went through the hospice procedure, and they used the morphine. Otherwise, she would have been screaming in pain.
Yes.
At the very end, they knew what they were doing. It was, you just don't want your loved one to go through that.
And you make these decisions ahead of time, way ahead of time for yourself and for your loved ones. Give this program to people. Give it to a lot of people so they can prepare ahead of time. What you should keep in mind as my caregiver, I do not want anything done or omitted by my doctors or nurses with the intention of taking my life. Let me read that again, okay? What you should keep in mind as my caregiver, okay? I do not want anything done or omitted by my doctors or nurses with the intention of taking my life. Oh, okay, that's active euthanasia. In other words, I don't want active euthanasia. Well, is that what that's saying?
It sounds like it, but we don't do that in Texas anyway.
Right, okay. I want to be offered...
Yes, we do that. It's called murder.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I want to be offered food and fluids by mouth, and I want to be kept clean and warm.
And remember that in Texas, unless you specifically say otherwise, you will receive hydration and nutrition. Okay. Food and water.
Very good. Now, three boxes here that you would check ahead of time. I want to have life support treatment, or I do not want life support treatment. If it has been started, I want it stopped. Or I want to have life support treatment if it is not helping my health condition or symptoms. Okay, that third one's good. Well, let's talk about the first two.
Well,
I want to have life support treatment.
And Doc, what I want to point out is this is a fantastic tool for communicating with your family. But remember, we've also got to have the legal documents in place that Texas provides for us to make these decisions.
That's right.
I would say this is an excellent additional...
Oh, very good.
Okay. Because, for instance, in Texas, you would have 2 elections about life support.
Okay. That's a good point, John. If someone is listening and thinking, well, when I call in, I'm going to have Doc send me those 5 wishes. I'll talk about my kids and check them off, and I'm done. No, you're not done.
No.
This is part of the total estate plan you do with John Vermillion to get all these things.
I'll tell you what this is fantastic for is sitting down with your loved ones and communicating.
Very good.
There you go. This is an incredible tool.
And this is, you tell them, this is what I've had my attorney incorporate into my documents. All right, I want to have life support treatment. All right, that's pretty obvious. That means, I want you to keep IVs in me. I want you to keep me in a
I've only had one client ever say that.
Really?
Only one. Mm-hmm. And it was a Assembly of God minister, and the attitude was that it's going to be left up to God to... That was their attitude, that it's up to God to decide when he dies, not the doctor.
Okay.
Now, we can dissect that decision and say that regardless of what his decision is, God's still in control. We could do that.
Right.
I'm just pointing out to you what his viewpoint was.
Right, right. Okay, and What happened? You
Well, he's
remember
still alive, you know.
He said, is he?
But this was his living will, you know. So
Oh,
he's
you
still
mean? Oh, I
alive.
thought
Yeah,
you
when
meant
he
he
signed
made
his-
that decision while he was on his deathbed.
No.
Oh,
he,
okay.
he said no. He wants to be kept alive.
Okay.
You know, and because he wanted, it's up to God when he's taken. You
All
know?
right.
Of course, if you could argue, like I said, we could dissect that decision because God has given us medical providers who can keep us alive a lot longer than we naturally would.
Mm-hmm.
So you can dissect that decision either way. So.
Okay, I do not want life support treatment. If it has been started, I want it stopped. Now, first of all, let's define what we mean by life support equipment and for whom that is suitable and when that is suitable.
Okay, well, life support connotes that you could not survive without this treatment, that you are not surviving on your own. For instance, you're on a respirator. You can't breathe without the respirator. You can't breathe without stimulation of the heart or something like that. It has to be a treatment without which you would pass away.
So that would include IVs as well, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, well, as I said, in Texas, you're still going to receive nutrition and hydration, even if you say, I want life support terminated, you'll still receive nutrition and hydration unless you have specifically omitted it.
Okay, and your experience is that most clients will put in their documents, look, if the doctor says I'm gone, I don't want this artificial life support equipment. Keep me going. It's going to be a burden on my family. It's usually what they say, right? It's going to be a burden on my family.
How many ways can it be stressful? Stressful emotionally, stressful financially.
Yes.
If you were to stay on life support, we had a case in Louisiana where there was no living will, and we did estate planning for the widow. She came to us later, but when her husband died, there was no living will, and she said that the hospital and the doctors refused to take him off life support, and that was her viewpoint that they did it until the insurance ran out.